I never imagined that while I was being dismembered, my husband Stephen would be in bed with his first love at our house. Also sent me cold messages with no concern for my fate. 3 days later, he was investigating a high-profile murder as a forensic analyst, unaware that the body he was examining was mine. He didn't even notice I was missing, still focused on his connection to his ex. But when he finally realized the victim was me, his whole world came crashing down. An old man walking his dog, then stumbled upon the scene and the furry pet chewed a black bag like a toy. The old man figured it was some discarded meat, until out popped a human leg bone. Cue the shock and horror. Pretty soon they were uncovering more bodies all over town. It was like a nightmare come to life. The cops were all over it, setting up some special task force to crack the case. Who got called in? None other than my husband Stephen Craig, the forensic analyst prodigy in town. He was on site, analyzing blood spatters like it was some messed up art exhibit. But even he was taken aback by the horror show. "This is some next-level brutality," he whispered, face going pale. The head of the criminal investigation team, Xander Young, wanted him to analyze it. Steve pointed out every detail like Sherlock Holmes. "See these stains? It looks like someone harvested the organs. What about the marks on the wall? The poor victim was awake the whole time." Xander scratched his head and said, "According to the coroner, the victim was a young woman under 30. I mean, who could she have messed with to end up like that?" But Steve had a hunch that this wasn't a random murder. Someone's holding a grudge, and they're just getting started. And you know what? He was right. It just goes to show you that my husband's instincts are sharper than a scalpel. I'd love to see his face when he finally puts the pieces together. They found a ring at the scene. It's the key piece of physical evidence. Stephen picks it up with disinterest, and Xander suddenly quiets down and whispers, "Stephen, is this ring exactly like yours?" Stephen took a quick look at the inside of the ring. It was smooth, not a single engraving. He didn't care and just brushed it off. It's probably the same style. Rings like that were everywhere back then, you know? After saying that, he wandered around the entrance of the scene for a while, falling into deep thought. After a moment of contemplation, he looked down and dialed my number. The phone rang for a few seconds before he quickly hung up without much thought. Look at her, throwing tantrums and being all high and mighty every day. Whether she doesn't answer the phone or not, it's not her. He's so confident because our wedding rings are engraved. But seriously, my husband, as a forensic wizard, shouldn't you know that metal engravings are the first to disappear? It only took me 6 months to wear off our initials.